Welcome to the WiseTake DFS podcast. I am your host, CK013. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013. I'm joined here by WiseTake regular Matt Amon. You can find him on Twitter at MattAmon123. And so nice we had to bring you back twice. We got Patio Joe. You can find him on Twitter at Patio Joe. Ref, a couple awesome takes for your first show, man. And, we found out you were free tonight. And we decided, why not have him join me and Matt tonight? And then let's try to keep this thing going here, huh? How you doing, Joe?
Doing well. Having a pretty good night on both DraftKings and FanDuel. Look, I'm gonna have a plus EV, so I am happy.
Awesome, man. Love to hear it. Matt, we gave you the day off yesterday to go to the Angel game, man. How are you? Are you rejuvenated?
I'm rejuvenated. I'm ready to go. I had a blast at the Angel game last night with my little guy. We went for batting practice. I tried to flag down some balls. I had a couple go off my glove. My son mocked me, and we had a great time.
Oh, but by who, though? You got to tell him that.
Well, I almost caught Todd Frazier. That's the one I came closest to. It literally nicked my glove. Like, if I had any hops at all, I would have got it. And it just, I couldn't quite get it. It was pretty pathetic. And then he's just like, "Come on, Dad, you got to have that."
Salt in the wounds, man.
Yeah, salt in the wounds. Salt in the wounds from the 5-year-old.
No, you taught him well.
Yeah, I did. So
there you go.
It was fun. He kept asking me questions like, why do they keep intentionally walking Mike Trout? And I have to explain to him how Mike Trout's really good and Albert Pujols is really bad. And then on the way home, we got into like a 20-minute conversation about, why they don't start certain lefties against lefty pitchers, because he wanted to know, Dad, why isn't Ben Revere in the lineup tonight? Why is Luis Valbuena not in the lineup tonight? So it was a pretty advanced conversation for a 5-year-old.
Hey, man, it's good that he's asking. He's interested.
He's
down on the baseball, man.
It was a lot of fun.
That's awesome, man. And you were mentioning there was somebody that you were impressed with watching at BP.
Oh man, Matt Davidson. Matt Davidson was just crushing the ball. I mean, like 470-foot bombs.
Wow.
Like none of them came towards us because we were in the right field bleachers and he was hitting them all to left field.
Right.
But I was happy he wasn't hitting them towards me because they would have been screaming. I mean, the thing is, I was thinking going in like, the home run balls won't be going that hard. Like I should be able to catch them.
Yeah.
But they're still coming in real hot.
Oh yeah.
And the bad part was, the White Sox, who the Angels were playing, they don't have any lefties. So in the right field bleachers, it wasn't that great of a spot. But Todd Frazier has some opposite field power, so he was peppering us pretty good.
Yeah. What about the Marine layer, bro?
Well, it still wasn't late enough for the Marine layer to really set in. Like batting practice starts about 5, and the Marine layer really doesn't start setting in until about 7:30. But you can see it, and I was thinking about you as I was sitting at the game last night, and you see, about the 3rd inning, you see the infield dirt get wet. It is real. It's a real thing. It's real. Hey, any game on the West Coast, I mean, San Diego, LA, Angels, Dodgers, Giants, the most extreme example, and even Seattle.
Joe, you're a Cali guy also. Is it real?
It's real. It's real.
All right, it's real. That's it. 2-1. Not that I didn't think it was real. I just like hearing you guys talk about it because it's interesting, man. It's like you're in the same country as me, maybe on the opposite side, but it's like there's like a whole different world out there, man. You got like marine layers, you got like all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I've always wondered, Yankee Stadium, Fenway, Camden Yards, they aren't far from the ocean, but they really don't have the same thing. So I mean, I'm not a weatherman, but it is different.
It's interesting for sure.
The humidity, probably.
Yeah. Well, you mean like it gets humid down there?
The humidity keeps the marine layer away.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
That's true.
It's humid. It's very humid up in the tri-state. Sure, that's our summer, man. It's humid, man. All right, you guys ready to talk some baseball?
Let's talk some baseball. Yeah, they're like, hey, 5 minutes in, it's time to talk baseball.
Yeah, literally, right on the nose, about 5 minutes
in. Man, there's not a lot. I mean, the pitching on today is just ridiculous. So you might rather hear me rant about batting practice.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk. There's one game we're not talking about because it's not on either the early slate or the main slate. So we're just gonna skip over. That's the Padres games. We're gonna talk about slate by slate. We're gonna go start with the early slate. We got 5 games here. We got Tanner Roark of the Washington Nationals visiting Tyler Glasnow of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Go ahead, Matt. Start us off.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the pitching is horrible on this slate, and you have to consider Tanner Roark. He's a pretty good ground ball pitcher. We know Pittsburgh is not a very good offense. We know this is a good park for pitchers, so I think Roark's in play. And then on the other side, you can't play Glass now. He can't find the strike zone. He's bad when they hit it hard, and the Nationals are good at baseball. So I think, many offenses are in a great spot here, and you're kind of going to have to choose which one you like, but certainly the Nationals are going to be up there on the favorite offenses of this slate.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead, Joe. What you got for us?
Yeah, Roark, both of his prices on both sites are reasonable enough to where you're going to be able to get in whatever stack you want in the early slate. So, I mean, he is, like I said, he has probably the safest floor. He probably doesn't have the highest ceiling. But, the opponent's, Pirates WOBA is 289, so it's not very low. So, with what else is out there, I'm rolling with Roar.
Yeah, I think that's I don't blame you. I mean, it's tough. I mean, you definitely don't want to play Glass now. Not until he gets these walks under control. Although Matt, I always say that I think he's gonna be good eventually, but it's not now. He's walking way too many guys, and yeah, man, it's crazy because I'm not a Roar guy normally, but he seems somewhat safe. He's got a big park. It is a 4.3 projection on the other side, but that's not as high as some of these other games. So, yeah, he could be one of the safer options. Although there's a game coming up that I think all 3 of us would agree. We're gonna have to talk about that, but we'll talk about that then. Anyway, did you guys have anything else you wanted to add here on this game? Should we move on?
Nope.
No good.
All right. We got Dylan Bundy of the Baltimore Orioles visiting Jordan Zimmerman of the Detroit Tigers. Go ahead, Matt.
Well, I think Dylan Bundy is somewhat interesting. The Tigers have kind of been swinging hot bats lately, and Bundy doesn't have a high strikeout rate. The only thing he has going for him is the Tigers are a bit right-handed, so that could help him. I don't think I like him as much as Roark. Just Roark seems a lot safer, and then we'll get to the pitcher that we all love in the next game. So I don't think I'm going to be high on Bundy, but I might use him a little bit on DraftKings just because you need 2 pitchers. On the other side, Zimmerman is one of the worst starters in all of baseball. He's really, really bad. He's not missing any bats. He's getting hit hard. The Orioles hit right-handed pitching really well. So, the Orioles are another stack here that I really like. They have a high projected run total. Oh, I have my thing on the wrong thing. I think it's like 5.2 runs. I don't know if you guys see it. I'm switching.
For the Orioles, yeah, 5.2.
Yeah, for the Orioles, I think it's real high here. I'm pulling it up right now. Yeah, 5.2 runs, which is second highest on the slate. So yeah, I really like all the Orioles bats here, and with lots of teams with high team totals, you may get them at fairly low ownership.
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I definitely like the Orioles bats. Bundy, as for pitching, Bundy, I don't like him enough to play him, but yet I like him enough to not target him either with the Tigers bats. But as for the Orioles bats, Chris Davis, he is hot right now, and with only 7 at bats against Zimmerman, he's 4 for 7 with 2 home runs with 103 average exit velocity. So, honestly, that Orioles stack definitely looks to be played tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm with you guys 100%. I love the Orioles here. 5.2 is an extremely high run total. I'm with you. It looks like it's going to be warm and breezy. Going to be some wind. Obviously, you're going to want to check which way that's going. But either way, I mean, like Matt, you hit it right on the head, man. He's just not good, Zimmerman. So, yeah, I'm all over the Baltimore bats here. And as far as Bundy, I'm kind of torn. It's like I agree with you, Joe. I don't want to target against him, but I'm not dying to play him. Yet I also see Matt's point because there's not a lot of good options, and at least he's capable of getting through a quality game. Like some of these guys aren't even capable of doing that. So it's like, yeah, it's the 4.9 scares me, but I think Bundy is talented, and I don't. Is Miggy going to be out for a little bit? Like I thought I read he was going to be out for like 2 to 3 days or games or something like that.
Yeah, that's what it says. Expected to miss 2 to 3 days with oblique strain.
Right, right. So if Miggy's not going to be here, I'll definitely like him a little more. The only guy that kind of scares me is JD Martinez, man. That guy is so good. But other than that, yeah, I think Bundy is a very intriguing option. Matt, what's his price on DraftKings?
JD?
No, Bundy.
Oh, 9,100.
Oh, wow. He's 83 on FanDuel, so it might make more sense to try him out on FanDuel if you're interested in playing.
Yeah, well, the thing is, though, I mean, you need 4 pitchers on DraftKings. I mean, 2 pitchers on DraftKings. I have 4 pitchers written down on my list. Yeah. So say you need 2 pitchers. None of them are that expensive, so I kind of think you can just play anyone you want.
True. I see your point.
As I'm stacking them up tomorrow, I just see what fits, and I assume Bundy's going to fit fine. So I think you're going to be picking between, Bundy and Rourke, because they're about the same price. So it's just kind of who do you want more. Yeah. I feel like Bundy has a bigger game in him. His upside is a bit higher. I think he's more talented, but I feel like Rourke's a bit safer because the matchup is safer.
Right. Yes. Joe, what do you think about that? Would you agree with that?
I like it. First of all, Mike Trout just hit a 3-run home run.
I was gonna say it.
There you go, Matt.
Yeah.
So that helps everybody out. I think if you played him, I played him in the night slate. So.
I think Fuego had him in the Dong Watch in honor of you, Matt. So there you go.
Yes, I heard. I listened. I was smiling when he did.
Very nice.
So Joe, so basically, what we were saying was that Matt had said Bundy seems more like maybe on DraftKings we're gonna pick 2 pitchers, right? Mm-hmm. Bundy seems like more of a higher ceiling, but Rourke seems a little safer. You would agree with that?
I totally agree.
Yeah. Okay. I'm on the same page.
I just wanted to point out too. I love Joe's call on Chris Davis. He's been hot, and it makes sense that he had good BVP against Zimmerman because when Davis struggles, what does he do? He strikes out. Yeah. And if Zimmerman can't strike anybody out, which he can't.
That's a great call. Yeah, I love him. Oh yeah, I think I absolutely right on the head. It's a great call, for sure. So okay, the next game is interesting because we know on some sources it says Tyler Chatwood against Jose Berrios. However, most of the other sources that we've checked as of now indicate that it's going to be German Marquez against Irvin Santana. Either way, all 4 of these pitchers are probably going to pitch tomorrow, but we think that the early slate is actually going to be German against Santana. So that's what we're going to go forward with. With that said, Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird on DraftKings. I think they mispriced these pitchers for the other guys, but it says Irvin and it says German Marquez, so I'm going to go with that. And if that's the case, I mean, I'm going to be all in on Irvin at 7,400. It's just way too cheap. And it's been kind of warm in Minnesota lately, and it's not going to be the case tomorrow. 50 degrees with the wind kind of blowing in slightly and across the field. So I think Irvin's in a great spot. In this game, we love targeting Colorado away from Coors Field. They strike out a decent bit. So I love Irvin Santana, even though, he's pitched better this year than he actually is. But, 7,400 on this slate. I like him a lot. And then I also think Marquez is interesting here. He's basically free. I mean, 5,000 on DraftKings, and he's put up, 2 of his last 3 starts have been gems. I mean, 35.6 against the Cubs at Coors Field. He had a 25.3 in Chase Field against Arizona. And then he's had 2 duds in there in Coors Field, but this seems like a young, talented pitcher with a decent strikeout upside. Against the Twins team that's kind of middle of the road at just about everything. So I have to have interest in Marquez, although I don't know if we're going to need him, because like I said, the other guys are all kind of reasonably priced. Mm-hmm. So I probably will sprinkle him in my stacks that I'm going to be putting in, all expensive bats. So I'll have a little exposure.
Okay. Go ahead, Joe. What you got?
Yeah, you got to use free square on DraftKings with Santana. It's just there's just too much, and I wouldn't care about the ownership or anything. It's definitely those bats are not to be scared of away from Coors. So I like that. As for the other side, you can always play Sano if he's hot, but I'd probably stay away from that too. Not there's nobody really that stands out as somebody that you have.
Yeah, I think that if Santana is going to pitch for the Twins tomorrow, he might be my savior as far as cash games go. My cash game pitcher, he might be the best way to go if you can only get one pitcher, because I think he provides the safety with the ceiling, which is always kind of what you're looking for. And obviously, the Rockies are projected for a low total. So if he's the guy you get in the early slate, he makes a big difference, especially in cash games. Obviously, he makes a big difference in general, especially between you guys. He's going to bump. Well, basically, if he doesn't pitch, somebody else is you're gonna have to make another tough decision. So it's very important. I think that we're all kind of hoping, the three of us anyway, are kind of hoping he is there, just to have the option, even if you're not gonna play him in every lineup, like just to have the option, because it's a little scary. We have no options here. And Germán, man, the guy's put up incredible numbers in Coors Field, and his other big game was in Arizona. So he's interesting. So it's a big deal. Hopefully these guys are pitching, hopefully, because I think it's a big deal rather than Chatwood and Berrios. Although Chatwood maybe, but anyway, Nick Pivetta of the Philadelphia Phillies visiting Martin Perez, the lefty from the Texas Rangers. This is the guy that we were talking about last night, but it ended up being Cashner who was actually pitching, so that was my mistake on that. Anyway, Matt, go ahead, start us off.
Well, real quick, I just want to circle back to German Marquez just to say, how would you like the first 4 starts of your career, 3 of them to be in Coors Field against the Cubs, Diamondbacks, and Nationals, and the other one in Chase Field against the Diamondbacks? I mean, that's for your first 4 starts. That's pretty murder-rowish.
Yeah. As much as you can get in Coors.
Yeah. Anyways, on to this Texas-Philadelphia game. I don't know if you'll have a game all year with 2 worst pitchers. I mean, Perez is a guy who we know is an elite ground ball pitcher, and it seems like that stuff has come back a little bit in his last few starts. But this guy's terrible, and he can get blown up at any point. He seems to get blown up about every 3rd or 4th start. So, the Phillies might be able to do it here. Pivetta, maybe Pivetta is a decent young pitcher, but he's not there yet. And in Texas on a really hot day where it seems like he has some home run problems and maybe some walk problems, can't play either of these pitchers, and I love all the bats in this game. I would certainly lean Texas, just because they have a better offense, and like I said, Perez is a ground ball pitcher. So I do love Texas here. I do love the lefties, especially Gallo, Mazzara, Odor, Chu. I love them all.
Okay, go ahead, Joe. What you got?
Yeah, stack this game. Double stack this game. Wendy's double stack. Do whatever you want. Pancake stack. Stack it, stack it, stack it. I'm telling you. I mean, Aaron out there, the Phillies, Odubel Herrera, Cameron Rupp, all got WOBAs over 390 against lefties. And as for the other side, it's just this is just Pivetta is a rookie. He's going to get crushed by the lefties. Mazzara hitting the ball, Odor, everything. Try and stack this game as much as you can, both ways. That's what I say.
Hey, I'm with it, man. Sounds like you both like Texas, and one of you likes Philly a little more than the other one. And I like all the bats here. But you're right, Matt. You make a great point about Perez being a ground ball guy, which isn't. It is a little scary. However, I think that just given the fact that the Phillies have a 4.5 run total, and there's so many other options, and the Phillies are just, as Matt would say, hashtag not good. They might go a little overlooked. I think people are going to rush to play the Tigers and the Orioles and maybe even the Nationals against Glass now. I think people might actually overlook the Phillies here, and it is going to be about 90 degrees. Now, you had some interesting things to say about the wind over there in Philly, Matt. What were you saying about
in Texas?
Yeah.
In Texas, In Texas, the prevailing wind there, when it's really hot, the wind will be blowing in. So you'll see every time it's really hot, it'll be blowing in like 15, 16 miles an hour, and vice versa. When it's cooler, it's blowing out. But don't be scared by that wind. The stadium is designed to kind of block the wind. And if you ever watch the games there, they kind of have the big wall, and not the big wall to hit over, but just kind of the big the stadium's surrounded, you know what I mean, to block the wind. So don't let the fact that it looks like the wind is blowing in scare you. It's not a big deal.
Great point. With that said, yeah, I love all the bets here. I'm with you. I like the Philly side just because of the fact that I think people will overlook them, particularly. But yeah, I think I'm with you guys, man. Let's do it. Amir Garrett, the lefty from the Cincinnati Reds, visiting John Lester, another lefty from the Chicago Cubs. Looks like the wind is going to be blowing out yet again. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, well, first off, Joe's got me dreaming about Wendy's now, so I might have to text my wife who's at the gym and see if she can get some Wendy's on the way home.
Do me a favor. On your way home from the gym.
Huh?
Hey, you're home from the gym.
Yeah, you're on your way home from the gym. Can you bring your fat husband a double stack from Wendy's and a Frosty? Yeah, I don't think she's going to go for that. But anyways, on to this game. It's 2 days in a row running now that the Cubs have been the chalk of the day. And it's kind of interesting. It's the same exact weather as it's been. But this slate is weird. There's just so many amazing offensive spots. I don't think they'll be as highly owned as they've been. But, Amir Garrett kind of had that hot stretch where he had some real good games in a row, and it seems like he's kind of been exposed as, not very good. He has control issues. He's giving up a lot of home runs. So, I think he's going to get torched again here. So I just fire up all the Cubs again. And then on the other side, I think you're going to see people wanting to roster John Lester because he's the only expensive, name brand pitcher on this slate. But I have just zero interest in John Lester. We know the Reds are pretty hot offense. They don't strike out a whole lot. They have good BVP against Lester. Lester can't hold on runners, and the Reds, are a team that runs a lot. So, I think the Reds are actually really interesting here on a spot that they might go overlooked.
Oh, interesting. Go ahead, Patio.
Okay, so this is Garrett's first start back after being sent down for a few days. He had one start in the minors where he pitched about 3 innings so he could just get in some work. So they're trying to conserve his arm. So, he might come out with a little bit better effort tomorrow, enough to where I don't know if you want to with the wind blowing out, the Cubs are going to hit. I don't know if I wouldn't play him, but I think he's going to do a little bit better than what he's been doing because he's lefty. And as for you can always play Billy Hamilton against Lester. If he gets on, that's, automatic another stolen base. So that's definitely in play. He's always in play. So yeah, this is another game. Just you could stack it if you wanted to, or mix in just a whole bunch of mini stacks with all the games that we just went over.
Good call on Billy Hamilton. I think a lot of people, because Lester's a lefty, I think there's a lot of people who kind of forget that he's bad at holding on runners. Just because you're left-handed doesn't mean you can make the throw to first. So it's like
the worst at holding on runners. Like he won't even throw over there.
He just won't do it. And I'm a lefty. I was a pitcher. There were some days where I literally was terrified to throw to first. And literally, I don't know why. You're throwing strikes, you're throwing at people's knees all day, no problem. And then all of a sudden, throwing it to first, and the target's too big. It's just not, you know what I'm saying? There's just too much going on. So I think that's hilarious. But that's a great point. Real quick, I forgot to mention this in the Philly game. Joe, with the Sanders call today, talking about he has good lefty-lefty splits, etc. And he went yard today. So I got to give you props on that one, man. I got to give you props on that one.
Thank you.
But yeah, Matt, I'm with you. I hate Lester. I do not like the guy. I don't think he's nearly as good as listen, I don't think he's obviously not the worst pitcher in baseball. I'm not saying he's terrible, but of the quote unquote elites, like I struggle to accept him as one of those quote unquote elite style pitchers. So I like the Reds a lot. They've been hot. I've been playing a lot of Reds. I've been on Cosart a lot, man. The guy's been hitting well. They got Duval. They got a lot of decent righties here, Duval. And as far as value, I wonder if they're gonna play. I wouldn't be surprised to see them sit Schebler maybe against the lefty and play what's his name?
Kevlin.
Yeah. Anyway, he's got a little bit of power, and he's probably going to be cheap. I don't know what his price is as just yet, but yeah, I like the Reds a lot, and I do like the Cubs. Joe, you made a great point about him getting sent down, brought back up. So I think he's kind of an interesting. You have to like the bats mainly because of the wind. You see how powerful the wind is. If guys are not going to get the key strikeout, and the Cubs have a lot of solid righties, then it's hard to really like. It's either strikeout or it's going to get hit hard, and it's going to carry. So yeah, I like both bats in this game, and I'm interested to see what the total is tomorrow. Okay, so that's the early. That wraps it up for the early slate. So real quick before we finish up with the main, we only got 5 main games also. Matt, what are your 4 pitchers you got highlighted? And then Joe, give me like your top 3 or 4.
Yeah, for me, the pitchers are Rourke, Bundy, Santana, and Marquez on this first slate, and it's crazy. This slate, I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen a slate with so many good plays.
Offensively.
Yeah, offensively. I mean, but it doesn't matter. I mean, if it's good for me, it's good for everybody. So just try to figure out, who's better than the other guy.
Yeah, good point. Joe, what about you?
Okay, well, my top probably in the early slate for hitters or stacks, I like Orioles, Phillies, and Rangers. Chris Davis, Aaron Altherr, Mazzara. Those are probably the three guys that kind of jump out at me real early. Pitchers, Roark, Bundy, Santana. There's nobody else that I would really, I would want to go for. I'm fading Lester. I don't buy him. So
yeah, I'm with you guys there. I listen, man. I haven't gotten past. I asked you guys the tough questions. I haven't gotten past Santana. Assuming Santana's playing, it's like I say, okay, Santana. That's pretty much it. And the Phillies are the only offense to me that stands out. That I think maybe you can get them at some lower ownership. Then again, some people do like to play the Phillies, and people like to play the bats in Texas. But I think that's probably my favorite stack. Other than that, it's gonna be tough, Matt. Like you said, man, there's so many options here.
Yeah.
You ready to move on to the main slate? I don't think it gets much better.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, we got Marcus Stroman of the Toronto Blue Jays visiting Julio Teheran of the Atlanta Braves. Well, I guess it's already better. Go ahead, Matt.
All right, I'm trying to pull up this game, switching slates.
Yeah, it looks like we could potentially see some weather, but Atlanta's kind of always like that, the whole scattered shower kind of situation.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, I bet this game ends up okay.
Yeah, I think so.
And gosh, I hope so, because we need the pitchers in this game. The pitching on the slate is really bad again, and I really like both pitchers in this game. I think Teheran is my favorite pitcher on the slate if price was a thing. He's really good against righties. Toronto has a lot of righties. They lose their DH, which means they lose either Smoke or Morales, one of their best hitters. And their lineup is just really bad. I know they've been a little bit better lately, but they're still really bad, and especially in a National League setting. And then Stroman's the best overall pitcher on the slate, but he's really expensive. But I think I'll probably have exposure to him, especially if Freddie Freeman is out. We know he got hurt tonight, so if he's out of the lineup, then I think Stroman might be the top option. So yeah, I love the pitchers in this game, and I think I'm going to avoid the hitters with much better spots coming up.
Okay, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I echo every word that he said. I mean, I can't. With Freeman out, that makes Stroman much more enticing. And with either Morales or Smoke will be out, so that's one less lefty that Ron's got to deal with. And he's due for a big game too. So, DraftKings, I wouldn't mind just throwing both of them out there, hoping they both get 15 to 20 points. One of them maybe gets a win, and then going at it another way. Go and get your bats.
Yeah, I think you guys are both right. These are 2 pitchers I really don't want to pick on. I would have liked the Braves if Freeman was playing. Well, no. It's not even that I would like the Braves against Stroman. It's that I wouldn't like Stroman as much if Freeman was playing. Without Freeman, man, it's hard not to like Stroman a lot here because the Braves do strike out, and Stroman has been pretty freaking good. So on the other side, I like Teheran just because Toronto, man, I know they've been kind of starting to get it going a little bit, but until they fully do as a team, their WOBA against righties in general is pretty bad. So they could wake up, but I think Julio, he is also an underdog. Julio I consider probably for more of a tournament play. On FanDuel I'm talking, obviously, where you get one pitcher, and Stroman might be the cash game route on this night game. Just firsthand for me, just off the top of my head. I mean, based off the matchup. We got Jordan Montgomery, the lefty from the New York Yankees, visiting Danny Duffy, another southpaw from the Kansas City Royals. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, this game does look like it might be in some trouble from a weather standpoint. A better chance of rain, a better chance of thunderstorms. But I'll just break it down real quick. Like if it was a thing. Duffy was a guy that we played a lot last season, but he seems to have lost something this year. And I'm just not going to play pitchers against the Yankees until they don't look as good as they look to me now. I think the Yankees are for real, and I don't want to play any pitchers against them. And Duffy's not been as good. On the other side, if this game looks like it's going to be clean, I do have interest in Montgomery. He's fairly priced. He seems decent. He seems like he has some decent strikeout upside, and we know the Royals are terrible. They're especially bad against lefties, and it's a great ballpark. The wind's blowing in tomorrow. So I'd have a lot of interest in Montgomery.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, I like Judge and Holiday. Their WOBA splits against lefties are just awesome, off the charts. 505 for Judge. Holiday's 494. So obviously keep playing the Yankees. They're hot. They're not gonna stop. And especially against Duffy, he's been kind of disappointing. So Montgomery he's probably in for a win, so that's always good. So yeah, I'd say stack Yankees and Montgomery be good.
Yeah, I think in this spot, the Yankees are certainly one of the teams in the better spots, even considering the ballpark. It's not as warm as I would like it to be in Kansas City. However, they got a lot of good righties on their team, like a lot. I think Didi and Ellsbury are the only guys that are probably going to be in their lineup that are left-handed. So, with that said, they're hot right now. Listen, I tell you guys all the time, call me Yankee hater all you want. Eventually, like every team, this team is going to stop and they're going to go. But until they do, until that happens, I don't see how you stop playing them, especially against a lefty, with as many good right-handed bats as they have. And as far as the pitchers, Montgomery has showed me enough, man. He's had some great games in Yankee Stadium, so I'm kind of excited to see what he can do against a bad offense in Kansas City. So I think I'm with the guys for sure. Okay, here we go. Hector Velasquez of the Boston Red Sox visiting Sonny Gray of the Oakland Athletics. Tell us about your love for this game, Matt.
Well, I always say how much I hate stacking teams in Oakland, because it's just the nut worst ballpark. But it's going to be hard to stay away from the offenses in this game. Sonny Gray looks terrible, and we know he's a complete fraud. He's no good, even though people think he's good. He's not. He stinks. He's not striking anybody out. He's giving up a ton of hard contacts. He's giving up home runs. The Red Sox don't strike out, so they're going to be putting the ball in play. And then Hector Velasquez, I've literally never heard of before. I saw his name. I looked him up on Fangraphs, and it's like, he has stats from the Mexican League, and, he pitched a little bit in the minors for the Red Sox last year, so there's just absolutely nothing on him. So I don't think I can play him. So, yeah, I guess all the bats are in play in this game. They really are. The Red Sox seem to be coming on a little bit lately. So Mookie Betts seems to be hot. And then, I like Benintendi. I like Moreland, Hanley Ramirez. Yeah, I'm not excited about it, but yeah, I like the bats in this game.
You got it, Joe.
All right, so I'm gonna, you gotta kind of put your foot down when you have such good, matchups all across the board, and I would be more inclined to stack the A's and fade all the Red Sox, and I'll tell you why. The Red Sox just got done playing a 15-inning game right now, and they're in St. Louis. Now they got to get on a plane and fly to Oakland, play tomorrow night. They're not going to get in until, I don't know, 3 o'clock in the morning, 2, 3 in the morning. It might be a little jet lag. If you want to find a reason why to fade a team, that would be a good reason. And it seemed to have worked at certain times when teams seem to play. I believe the Marlins earlier this year played a late game and had to fly to Seattle, and they just looked terrible the next day.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, it might. I don't know. I'm gonna look into it more, but the A's might be a sneaky stack against a tired Red Sox club.
That's interesting. Now let me ask you a question. Does that mean that you like Sonny Gray a little bit?
Oof. I mean, maybe I guess that'd be another qualifier team because nobody else is gonna have them.
It's true. Here's my concern with Gray. Number one is he can't stay healthy, so you got to wonder how long they're going to let him go. Number two, even though his strikeouts are we'll call them mediocre, they haven't exactly been great, but they haven't been terrible. Even a tired Red Sox team, do you think they're going to strike out more? Because they really don't strike out a lot. So I'm just curious because listen. I think we all know that there's plenty of situations where we want to fade the bats, but we don't like the pitcher either. So I'm just curious though because Gray at one time was a decent name. This is a pitcher's ballpark. So I'm just curious on your thoughts there.
No.
Okay, fair enough. Joe, I think me and Matt have been burned once before this season by the whole jet lag. Not even jet lag, but just leaving. Teams getting out, and it's something that it's a rookie mistake that Matt and I knew better. I think we just had a night where we just completely didn't think about it. And we talked about it the next day and mentioned how we would never put ourselves like we would never forget that rule, or just paying attention. I shouldn't even call it a rule. And I think you made a great point there for sure. It's gonna be interesting. Now, that's pretty late. The game just ended. They're about to hop on a plane and then fly. And where are they at? St. Louis right now?
Yeah. So what? It's 12:45 right now, right?
Yeah, on the East Coast, correct.
Mm-hmm.
3-hour flight.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely something to think
time
about.
Difference, flip around.
Definitely something to think about. Okay, we got Dylan Covey of the Chicago White Sox against another one. We got Sam Gaviglio.
Sam, we've never heard of you.
Sam Gaviglio. There we go. It's got to be it. I'm confident that's it. Go ahead, Matt.
Well, I'm happy that this spot is here because this maybe makes it to where I don't have to play the Red Sox. Dylan Covey's he's literally maybe the worst pitcher in all of baseball. I don't know where they find this guy. He just gets rocked every time he pitches. He doesn't strike anybody out. He's just terrible, terrible. I love Seattle. They're my favorite stack on this slate. I have them written down with 5 arrows, so definitely stacking Seattle. And then on the other side, it's hard to give analysis on Sam Gaviglio, and I've never heard of him, no idea. So I'm going to be digging in tomorrow on Fangraphs. He's free. I don't think you can play him just because I'm sure they won't let him pitch deep into the game.
I told you about him, bro. He's from Oregon. Went to Oregon State.
Oh yeah, that's right. You said he went to Oregon State. Yeah, you're like, oh, he's a Beaver. I'm like, I can't play Beavers. He's automatically disqualified. So I'm not going to roster him. The question is, how much do I want to pick on him? Probably not a whole lot. The White Sox are bad against right-handers. So I probably won't have a lot of the White Sox, but yeah, I love Seattle.
Go ahead, Joe.
Well, he is the second highest favorite on the slate, Gaviglio. I tell you what, there's some good Italian pitchers these days. Gaviglio, Biagini.
The Italian homer.
The Italian pitchers are coming. I like it.
I'm loving it, man. That's amore, bro.
Baldino, I was a pitcher myself in college, so I appreciate Italian pitchers. So I'll tell you what, the guy's 5,500 on FanDuel. And if you love all these stacks and you love all these bats and everything, in a tournament, what does the guy have to get you to get? What's that? 5x is 30 points. And it's not unheard of.
Hey,
why not?
Hey, man.
It's not like Chicago's a great hitting team either. That's the thing. If he was pitching against a good hitting team, I would not even think about it. But Chicago is not very good, so why not?
I think you make a good point for sure. And listen, I think it's something that we all. One thing we thought was a little weird was that considering it is Gaviglio, I get the park, I get all this, and I get why Seattle's favored because they don't know anything about Gaviglio, but they know that Covey's terrible. So I get all that. I think what we were a little hung up on is why is Vegas, the projected run, and I like to trust Vegas, right? I think we all do. We respect what they do. They're pretty smart, right? Yeah. So why is it 3.9 the projected team total for the White Sox? That's very. And naturally, if a team like the White Sox isn't doing well, they're probably also striking out because they strike out.
They are. So, yeah, they're fifth worst against righties.
Right. So yeah, I think that You can. I don't think in cash. I don't think you have to go there because I don't think enough people will, obviously. But in tournaments, man, like nobody's gonna go here. Well, some people may just simply based off the 3.9 of the White Sox, but not a lot of people are gonna go here. And like you said, Joe, you'll get access to any stack that you want, regardless of price. I mean, a 5.5 for a pitcher, you're basically. I mean, yeah, that's like Mike Trout's price. Like, it's like come on, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, come on, man. I would if they would let me. I would pay 5.5 for Mike Trout at pitcher. I would do it. I would just trust that if they counted his offense in the pitcher slot for me, I'd probably do it.
Oh yeah, he's the best.
He's the best. All right, we got one more game, and then we're all done here. We got Edinson Volquez of the Miami Marlins. Edinson.
Don't forget that N. Don't forget that N.
That is what distinguishes him from Anyway, Edinson Volquez of the Miami Marlins visiting Hyunjin Ryu, the lefty from the Los Angeles Dodgers. Your Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah, both of them, both me and Joe.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot 2 Cali guys. I keep forgetting.
That's right.
We
were talking today. Today. We're gonna go down and we're gonna go to a couple games at Dodger Stadium.
All right, let's hear the homerism. Go.
I obviously we're not playing Edinson Volquez. He stinks, and the Dodgers crush righties. So I have a lot of interest in the Dodgers stack here. All the lefties: a Seager, a Bellinger, Justin Turner's reverse splits. Grandal hits righties well. Jock Peterson's been hitting leadoff. So yeah, Dodgers are in a great spot. Love the Dodger stack. And then on the other side, Ryu's in play. I don't normally like to play him. They don't let him pitch super deep into games. But his strikeout rate has looked decent, especially at Dodger Stadium. It's a good pitcher's park. There's not a lot of pitching options, so I think Ryu's in play. I don't like him as much as Tehran or Stroman, but I think he's my third favorite on the slate.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, he's the biggest favorite on the slate. So, if you look at it that way for the cash game principle, you'd want to maybe pick him for your cash game. But the Dodgers, they hit righties great. I love Bellinger. Guy's going to be a star. So, Peterson. I love Peterson. I don't know why people love him. I think he's such a better team. Right? That's so. But yeah, I would definitely stack the Dodgers because also late night games too. Forget about those late night games.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point. That's something that Fuego's always real big on. Is he loves the late night hammers, and I'm with him. I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense. And you always want to have your hope for as long as possible anyway, right? So it's like you play those late games, you're never really out of it. You still got plenty of innings left. You love having your early guys go off and knowing you still got 2, 3, 4, guys in these late games that haven't even started yet. So they bring that factor. They're crushing. Edinson Volquez is not a big strikeout guy as it is. The Dodgers, like Matt said, don't strike out anyway. That's a team they're just mashing right now. Seager, Bellinger. I don't even got to talk about the guys. You guys already hit them. They're very good. So yeah, I like the Dodgers offensively. And Ryu, yeah, I think he's also in play. And like my issue as far as safety is what Matt said as far as his innings. Like how long is he gonna get to go? I know that as long as Stroman or Tehran don't get rocked, their coach will let them play. However, there's weather concerns there. It might not be much, and like Matt said, I also think it's going to play. But you don't want to mess around with these delays. You don't want to mess around with that. You get a pitcher after 2 innings, you get a delay, and he's done. So, yeah, I have to think about it. But Ryu might be a little safer in your cash game scenario. It's going to depend on the weather picture. If Atlanta clears up, then I think clearly those two are the top options you'd like to go to. But if it doesn't, I think Ryu becomes the next safest guy after that, unfortunately. And yeah, for GPPs, man, going back to Gaviglio, man, I think that's interesting. Hey, man, you were right about Chassid, man. He had a monster game. He's done, but he had a monster game. Anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for the game by game breakdown. So real quick, just what was your overall impression of some of your favorite stacks, some of the pitchers you like? Let's talk a little bit of game theory, then we'll play some Dong Watch, and then we'll get out of here.
On the late slate.
Yeah, on the late slate.
Yeah, on the late slate, I like Teheran and Stroman are my favorite pitchers. I like Montgomery a decent bit if that game plays. My favorite stacks are the Mariners and the Dodgers.
Awesome. Joe?
Yeah, I like the Yankees in Seattle as my stacks. Dodgers, of course, I'm good. I'm good with that too. I'll probably have, and I might go with a little bit of an A stack just to be contrarian, just because the Red Sox are getting in late. And as for pitching, the one other thing we didn't talk about is the second game, maybe Barrios. Pitch.
That game's not on this slate though, right?
Yeah, they actually don't have it on the listed on the main slates. So I guess they're choosing to just do one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, no, I didn't realize. It's funny you said that because I didn't realize that until I was looking at this main slate as we were talking, and I was like, wait a minute, I don't see the Colorado game, and I was like, oh, we didn't put it in the slate. That's why. So I guess they chose one. They chose the early spot.
Yeah. So Yankees, Seattle, probably. I don't know. I'm trying to look for a one-off, just off the top of my head. I mean, Aaron Judge, he's due.
Yeah, I think the Yankees certainly apply. I love the Yankees. I'm thinking about Goviglio now, but I think hopefully the weather clears up because I really like to play Stroman or Teheran and catch. Either one of them I think would be fine. I prefer to play Stroman if Freeman is out, but yeah, man, I don't really have anything else to add. I think you guys are pretty on the ball also. So with that said, let's play a little bit of Dong Watch. Joe, Matt, we're gonna give you the first pick because we gave Joe the first pick yesterday, and you had the day off, so we're gonna give you the first pick.
Okay.
And there's no Mike Trout.
I know, but if there's no Mike Trout, so I think you could probably guess who I would pick with the first pick. So I'll just go ahead and pick Bryce Harper.
I do it. Okay, I was right. I wanted to make sure I was gonna try to say it at the same time as you, but there's like a tiny delay here, so I was like, I thought I was on the. All right, Harper. Go ahead, Joe.
I'll go with Judge.
Okay, I like it. Okay. I end up writing down your guys', and then I look up and I have to pick two right off the bat, and I'm like, uh-oh. Just like, so, I'm gonna go with give me Seager against Covey. First pick, and then
Kyle Seager.
Oh yeah, Kyle Seager, correct. Yes. Good point. As a matter of fact, I better cover myself. I'm gonna take his brother.
Yeah, you better take the brother.
I'm gonna take the brother. I got the Seager brothers, baby. All right, go ahead, Joe.
Both in great spots.
Yeah, it's true.
Chris Davis.
From Baltimore.
From Baltimore. I had him in my queue.
Yeah, I don't even have the early games pulled up. You guys got me, man. I'm looking at this crappy night slate.
Yeah.
You get two, man.
Give me, again, from the morning slate, give me Chris Bryant. And then again, from the night slate, give me Bellinger.
All right, Joe, last pick.
All right. I'm going to go with the narrative of the hometown boy coming home to play the Dodgers, Giancarlo Stanton.
Oh, that's right. Can't believe we
Man who hit it out of Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, you want to know a story? When he was in high school, he played football at Notre Dame High School in Sherman Oaks, and I'm a referee, and I did a couple of his games. He was a great receiver.
Dude, I cannot believe I didn't even realize that. You were right. Stanton is coming home to LA. Wow. That's going to be the name of this podcast. That's awesome. I always run out of titles. So when I get a title during the show, I'm just like, oh yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like,
oh yeah.
I'm going to go with Machado. It's not nearly as exciting as Stanton. I should have gave you the last pick. That would have been like a perfect way to end it. Like, I'm going to go with Giancarlo Stanton, and this is why. It's like, oh, freaking cool. But I'll go with Machado. Listen, Joe, it was awesome having you on, man. You had some great takes yesterday, man. I thought you brought a lot to the show. Glad to have you on the team. You bring a lot to the team. So thank you very much for coming on. Matt, as always, man, always a pleasure to have you on these, man. It's so much fun to get you guys on here and talk some DFS, man. That's really what it's all about.
A lot of fun.
So,
Yeah,
fellas,
thank you. Thanks again.
Got it. So anyway, guys, if you're watching on YouTube, please hit that like button. That thumbs up means a lot to us. If you're listening on Podbean, give us a follow. If you're listening on iTunes, subscribe to the channel. Also, leave us some more positive reviews. We got a new one in there that was pretty cool. We'd like to see a couple more of those 5 stars and bump us up those charts there. Anyway, guys, thanks again for watching. Really appreciate it. For Joe, for Matt, and for myself, as always, good luck.
Yeah.